He's more calculated. He doesn't show up in great shape in his fights, so he has to be much more again, the word calculating, conservative, try to be more of a marksman. Steve is much more of a warrior who is physically in shape and mentally very tough. He very much brings that Philadelphia type mindset where he's not going to slip and move away from punches. He shells up well, fires off right off the bat. Phenomenal long jab from the outside. And he just has a lot of grit, a lot of heart, which in turn also sometimes has gotten him in trouble. But in times, I mean, you have someone like Tyson Fury says you're the hardest fight he's ever had. That's a statement in itself.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You should actually, instead of fighting this fight, you should just sit at ringside and analyze it.
I do well at that too.
You'll take my job on the fight night. Now, we have, of course, press on hand here that are going to ask questions. Let's go out to a question.
Yeah. Frank, I mean, I know that a lot of us were surprised, right, when you made this announcement that you were going to be partaking in this. And then you got to change the opponent on top of that, right? I'm curious, I mean, did that cause any hesitation at all? Was there any discussion like, hey, we were already taking a chance. Now this is even more of a chance, even more crazy. Did you think, maybe we should wait till another opportunity is around?
Well, the one thing that hasn't changed, it was always going to be a challenge. It was going to be something that I knew was going to bring out the best in me, to give me something to face. I always tell people that, so many people want to improve their life. They want to do something. They're not happy with where they are. I tell them, hey, pick a running event, pick up a jiu-jitsu competition, go, a point fighting, do something, put it on your calendar, and it gives you a reason to train, a reason to push yourself. And that adversity and that suffering is going to make you a better person. And that's what I saw fighting in a boxing match as many opportunities, but that being one of them, as an opportunity to test myself and push myself to my brink. And it absolutely changed things up because Tarver, I saw somebody again. I said that, again, I'm not taking away from Cunningham's boxing skills. I'm saying that Tarver relies more on being cunning and, trying to win with the judges, landing a more consecutive shot, tying up, keeping the distance. You even watch their fight together. Cunningham was trying to make it a fight, and Tarver slowed it down and kept it very close so that way they eked out that split decision or the draw. Cunningham is a much tougher guy. I'm not going to have as much of an advantage in age as I thought I was going to have over Tarver. I knew that Tarver wasn't going to probably be in the same kind of shape that I was. And because I knew that when it comes to boxing IQ, Cunningham's greater than I am, but Tarver's even more so. I knew that I couldn't be the smarter guy. For the first time in my career, I wasn't the more technical fighter. So it really inspired me to be in the gym, pushing my physical prowess, knowing that, hey, I'm going to have to make this ugly. I'm going to have to crowd them. I'm going to have to beat them up and keep up the conditioning that my size is an advantage because I can keep using it. If it becomes something where I get tired, well, now my size becomes a disadvantage. So when I found out it was Cunningham, and I had known who he was from the Tyson Fury fight, but then I started looking at his other bouts, I realized that this is even a tougher fight.
Yeah. To a lot of fans, you're kind of representing MMA, right? I mean, do you welcome that? I mean, are you okay with that? Like kind of standing for the sport in this challenge, or do you feel like, hey, guys, don't give me that label. I'm just kind of going in here taking a boxing fight.
No, absolutely. I love that challenge. I love that label. Look, there's no greater pressure than competing, and I'm sure Cunningham can agree to this, when you compete in front of your children. My daughter's in my corner. My sons are there ringside watching. They watch me every morning when I get up before they do to go train, and when I come home late at night and go to bed, and they're already laying there, So I live to try to be an example to them, I'm constantly trying to be an example to my wife so that when she sits there and, there's nobody that knows you better than your wife, right? Sit there and go, okay, did you eat the right way today? Did you train hard enough? Did you take time off when you need to? Because that was a smart thing to do. So I'm constantly always putting pressure upon myself because that always helps me be better. Any time in my life, and look, for my late 30s, I very did that. Due to injuries and being beat up and hurt, my body was falling apart. I started giving myself just, does it really matter? Who cares? I've done this, I've accomplished that. I took away that pressure and I became a fat, middle-aged dad bod that was a very disgusting representation of a martial arts champion. Going down, doing stem cell with bioaccelerator and doing everything I've done was from American Shaman, trying to fix my body up to be able to be in the gym and training. Now, I'm happy to just be a good example of what a warrior should be.
Nice. What do you think you weigh on fight night?
265, 270. I'm about 275 right now.
Fair enough. Thanks. I want to ask Steve as well. I mean, when you first heard this match was announced, obviously you weren't a part of it. It was the Antonio fight. What did you think when you first heard this? Frank Mir, UFC champion, coming over, Antonio coming back. What did you think of it?
In all actuality, I was happy. I was happy for Antonio Tarver because, I knew he didn't fight since our last fight in 2017. I'm like, wow, and it's an opportunity, it's Triller, shoot, Jake Paul, all of this stuff has opened up doors for fighters to make money, to showcase their skills, to present themselves to the fans. So I was actually ecstatic for Tarver and ecstatic to see it. I'm like, hey, that's a good matchup. I like to see that. So then I get the call and it's like, yo, all right, I just step in. I'm always ready.
What do you think Franco brings to the table? Like, obviously, he's fought at the highest level of the sport in mixed martial arts. I mean, a UFC champion, Hall of Fame type career, but this is a different sport, right? I mean, so is he completely out of his element, do you think, in coming to the sport? Or do you feel like, the fact that he's competed at such a high level in mixed martial arts, he'll be successful in this?
Yeah, that in itself, him competing at a high level in the UFC as a champion, and that in itself makes him prepared for our fight for April 17th. That's the warrior in him. He's a warrior, period. That's just the line right there, warrior. So once you pass that line, then you have champion. He's a warrior and a champion. So for anybody who thinks this is easy or, Cunningham's going to breeze through him, nah, you shouldn't. I don't think like that. In the words of my late trainer, Brother Nazim, you take everybody serious. That's Tyson Fury right there. I'm about to fight Tyson Fury again. That's the mindset. That's the mindset I'm going through in every fight. So you buckle down like that, and you go to the gym, you train hard, and you push. Even short notice, it's just a few notches, adjustments here, adjustments there, and we're ready.
All right, so last question for me. We talked about the size difference. What do you think you'll weigh on fight night?
210 is the goal. 210. I'm almost there. We'll make it and just go to work.
All right, thank you very much. Now we're going to get some remote questions from around the globe. So let's go to them.
Our first question is from Cage Side Press, Josh Evanoff.
Yeah, I got a quick question for Frank. Frank, obviously you've been fighting in MMA for 20 plus years. You've been a former world champion. You've been pretty much everywhere the MMA world has been. You've been fighting Bellator, UFC. How has it been making that transition, just in terms of preparation to fighting, now making your pro boxing debut and against a guy in Steve Cunningham on short notice?
The best part was that actually, because I was preparing for a bare knuckle fight, that gave me a lot of sparring in that realm, which helped me segue into this. On the outside, things are extremely similar between boxing and MMA, a little bit different of stance and whatnot because of angle. We don't have to protect our lead leg as much. But the clinch is a little bit different. And honestly, that's been the hardest part for me. There's a lot of things that I keep on accidentally doing, and I've almost eliminated it completely. But holding the back of someone's head and driving an uppercut is very legal in MMA, and it was legal in bare knuckle. And now I get my dad at the side of the ring is screaming at me, "Stop punching with the clinch!" So I'm working on it. So there are some aspects of it that are just instinct in me. When I put wrestling shoes on or boxing shoes, I tend not to kick or knee. That's easy because I've sparred so many rounds boxing in preparation for MMA. I've never made that mistake, but again, the clinch is probably the hardest part because there's so many similarities between bare knuckle boxing and MMA, and that's what I was training for. That now the pure boxing rules and the clinch, it changes things.
All right. What else we got?
Next is the Full Reptile YouTube, James Mystery.
Hey Frank, great to see you up here, mate. Can you just talk to me a little bit about when the thought of boxing competitively became a serious idea to you?
Well, it probably came back in the day when I first started training boxing very solely to try to help me out with MMA when I was sparring with Bermain, and Marco Huck and whatnot, guys coming in and working. And I was like, wow, this is exciting. I like it, in its own chess match in itself. And the type of brain I have, I just really enjoyed it. I really love wrestling. My daughter and my kids are very good at it. My daughter's going up to nationals. In fact, this weekend right now, she's on a plane, multiple time state champion. So I'm an avid fan of wrestling, but there are times when wrestling to me gets a little boring. I think boxing is much more of a thinking man as far as speed and ingenuity. And there's just more to it as far as, because of the pain factor, as far as testing a man's soul. Wrestling hurts your lungs, but there's just no sensation as getting hit by another man in front of you and knowing he's going to continue to do so. And you have to do something about it. And there's no one that's going to come to help you.
All right. Let's get our last remote question.
From Bad Left Hook, Michael Woods.
Hello, Big Al again, and my friend Steve Cunningham. You and I worked together on Fight Night Live near Philadelphia. 2 weeks ago, and how about that? What were we talking about? You were wanting another fight, and I said, what about those Triller people? It came to be. It came to fruition, huh?
Totally, man. You talked it up, Mike. You still there? Is Mike still there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you talked it up. We sat there, we were commentating some fights in Philly. Got guys coming up from the amateurs, actually from the tournament that my sons are at right now, guys turn pro. And I got the opportunity to commentate again. That I'm trying to keep my wheels spinning on that. And to do it with Mike is a pleasure, because it's like, yin and yang going on. Me and Mike, we have different views on certain things, even in the sport. But we come together to make the show great. But he was just saying, man, what about Triller? And me and my wife, who is my manager, my gorgeous wife, she's around somewhere. We were like, hey, we want to contact them. We want to get in touch, because a lot of people been saying I've been retired. And I'm like, I haven't retired. I still want to fight a few times, before I retire and pass the torch to USS Junior, and my son Cruz. So, but we get the call, and it's amazing.
All right. I should identify that gentleman that asked the question Ed did before, Colonel Bob Sheridan, a Hall of Famer in the sport of boxing. I want to thank both of you gentlemen for gracing this stage and for showing such great class. And we look forward to seeing you guys on April 17th.
Thank you.
All
Same
right.
here. Same here. Salute.
Steve Cunningham, USS Cunningham. There you go. And Frank Mir. Frank, good to see you. All right, Steve, take care. Well, our next, we're going to, in a moment or two, we're going to talk about our next match coming up, which is former world champion, Regis Prograis, taking on Ivan Redkach. But first, before we do that, you had a hint before when we had Snoop on about the great music that is going to be on the April 17th show. That is a integral part of the evening. Let's take a look at that and take a look at the musical lineup that you're going to see. It's a knockout. Justin Bieber with his full band will be on hand. The Black Keys will be there. And as Snoop referenced, Mount Westmore, a group that he put together with Ice Cube, Too Short, and E40, they're going to be making their debut performance. So in a way, it's going to be musical history. Also, Dojo Cat, Saweetie, and Diplo are going to be on hand. So it's going to be an amazing night of music. It's kind of like stepping into a music festival. And of course, every one of those acts are spectacular. So we're looking forward to that. Now, let's get back to the boxing, and we'll continue on with our boxing card. The co-main event in the evening on April 17th will be Regis Prograis, who is a former 140-pound champion, who is undefeated, was undefeated until he faced Josh Taylor and lost a very close decision to him. And other than that, has never lost a fight. And of course, the Taylor fight was a very close fight that arguably could have gone either way. And the man he's taking on, Ivan Redkach, a contender in several weight divisions. This is his Super Bowl, because a win here is vital to him to get back into a contending situation. And he's just coming off a decision loss to Danny Garcia, of course, one of the top fighters in the world. So let's bring them out to the stage now. Regis Prograis and Ivan Redkach. Gentlemen, how are you? Regis, how are you? Good to see you. Ivan, how are you? It's been my great honor to broadcast fights of both of these terrific fighters, and I'm thrilled that I'm going to have a chance to announce their fight on April 17th. Let me turn to Regis first. You, in your last fight, beat Juan Heraldez and knocked him out. You were the first one to knock him out, and you're kind of using this fight as a way to reach a lot of people and market yourself to get back into another world title shot. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, very, very fair statement. Yeah, I mean, first off, I'm just thankful for this opportunity. You know, like this whole Triller card, this whole with the Jake Paul, with the YouTube stuff. I mean, it's a whole different market, and I'm glad to be a part of this stuff, and I'm happy. You know, and I just want to go out there and show the world like I am the best at 140. And I'm gonna keep saying it, and I just want to, one thing about me is, I say it, but I'm gonna keep proving it. So I'm happy. I'm very excited about this fight, and I can't wait.
And when you were on my show, we talked a little bit about how much you appreciate the whole concept of this event, the musical part, and that you kind of at one point wanted to be a part of this, and so now you are.
Yeah, man. I mean, I saw, I was, of course, I think the first one, if I'm not mistaken, was with Mike Tyson and Roy Jones, and I talked to Roy. Roy's a friend of mine. And I mean, I was at home, I was at my house in New Orleans watching it. And, I saw, Jake Paul, knocked out Nate Robinson. Just, I mean, listen, I have, like I was telling you on your show, I have like a street team, right? In New Orleans, and they've been trying to do something like this a long time ago, where it's an event, not you don't just have boxing as just regular boxing. Now you have a whole event going around. You have all these performers, and it's like an event. Just like I was telling you, sometimes only certain fighters is you have a real event. You have a Floyd Mayweather, a Manny Pacquiao, a Canelo Alvarez, maybe like somebody like Anthony Joshua over there. When they fight, it's an event. But now when you have you bringing all this stuff into it, all the artists, all the musical talents, this is turning into an event, and I think boxing been needed something like this to happen, and I'm glad to be a part of this.
Yeah, very well put. That's a very good point. We're going to turn to Ivan, and Anya Andrenko will translate as we talk to Ivan. Nice to see you, by the way, again, Anya. Now, you went the distance, Ivan, with Danny Garcia, and you couldn't quite get the job done. You have had a great career, except the big moments that you've gotten against major fighters, it hasn't quite worked out. What do you have to do to make that happen?
Бой с Дэнни Гарсией, но тебе немножко не хватило, чтобы доделать это до конца, чтобы добить его до конца. Какие ты примешь шаги сейчас, чтобы сделать то, что ты не сделал с боем Дэнни Гарсией?
Ну, скажу честно, что мне этот бой дали за 3 недели всего лишь.
I'll be
Ну,
honest with you, I got that fight only 3 weeks before the actual fight, so I didn't have enough time to prepare.
поэтому у меня сейчас было 8 недель полных подготовки, и я буду в своей самой наилучшей форме.
Well, we understood it's not an excuse anyway, but at this time I had the full 8 weeks of camp and I'm fully prepared.
Great, so you'll be well prepared. Now, this fight is interesting because we have two left-handers going it now, and you, Regis, I know have sparred before, so you guys are aware of each other. Two left-handers, it's different, isn't it?
Вы оба левши, и будет достаточно интересно посмотреть на то, что вы собираетесь сделать.
Да, мы спарринговали вместе, он отличный боец, и это будет зрелищная битва у нас 17 апреля.
You know, we sparred together, and it was a great sparring. Regis knows better than anybody else that it was a good sparring. I met him a little bit bleeding, but we'll see. April 17.
Well, we will for sure. And of course, as with every fight before this, we have questions from the audience. Kevin Ioli's out there, and he wants to chat with the fighters.
Hey, Regis. There was a question asked of Frank Mir before. You're kind of representing the MMA fans, and I wonder, you're probably the best fighter that has fought on this in terms of, active fighters. Do you feel like you're carrying the flag for boxing fans, like that you have to put, for people who may be watching because they're fans of the musical artists, or maybe they want to see how the MMA fighters do? Do you want to put on a statement of how good boxing could be at the highest level?
Of course, of course. I mean, I'm always, every time I fight, I'm always looking to give a spectacular performance. So even, with this show, even more. So I'm definitely, I want to represent boxing well, and myself well, and give a spectacular performance.
And, one of the things that Triller has done so far, they haven't had a matchup like this where two top guys are meeting. Now we're going to have Lopez versus Kambosos. Do you think you're going to see other boxers try this? And and try to say, hey, let's go to fight at Triller Fight Club, and whatever that would do to your popularity with other, audiences that maybe don't know you now?
Yeah, I definitely think a lot of fighters gonna try to do this, man. I keep telling people I'm glad I got the call, and I'm pretty sure Ivan is glad he got the call too, because this is a huge platform, and then they're paying us all this damn money. So of course, yeah, I think a lot of other fighters they're gonna be trying to reach out, man. I won't go fight on Triller. I won't go fight on Triller, because it's an event. Just like I keep saying, it's gonna be a whole event, and it's different from a regular boxing show. That's sometimes it can be boring if it's not a lot. Not I'm not saying it can be boring, but if it's not a mainstream a mainstream fighter, a lot of people won't tune in. But with this, it's a whole event, so a lot of people is gonna be tuned in. So yeah, just like I said, I wanna give a spectacular performance.
Regis, I know you're a boxing historian. You follow the history of the sport very closely. There are some really hardcore boxing fans who don't like this because they don't, these hybrid fights, the musical artists fighting, NBA players fighting, and so that they think maybe you're kind of bastardizing yourself by doing this. How do you respond to them that fans of yourself? Why are you doing something like this?
I mean, I'm not worried about that, man. I'm worried about my fight. That's the thing. I'm fighting a real fighter. That's what I know. I'm fighting, a real fighter. And then you got to look at you can't look at the negative. You got to look at the positive. So what I'm the positive for me is that you have Jake Paul that's coming in, but he has a whole ton of just a whole different world out there. Popularity and famous is different these days. I was at the fight with his brother in LA, and man, it was kids there. You talk about 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old kids, not with their parents. They was all at the fight. So if you can have somebody that's gonna bring those type of fans and with the old school boxing fans, I mean, it's a win-win. I think it's a win-win. And then just like you said, after we're coming in, getting these fights in, then I think more people, more real fighters on the, like, not saying real fighters, not disrespecting anybody, but more boxers or MMA fighters, they're gonna try to come in and they're gonna try to be a part of Triller too, because like I keep saying, it's gonna be an event, not just a regular boxing match or a regular MMA fight. It's gonna be a whole event. So yeah, I think it's a good thing.
And my last question, to pick on your boxing expertise would be this. I saw BJ Flores on the way in. Obviously he's training Jake, and he said Jake is going to look spectacular, but he's biased. You're a guy that knows what you're looking at. I know you said you watched Jake's fight against Nate Robinson. I mean, it was a little difficult for him, but did you see anything in Jake in that fight that tells you that he actually could box?
I mean, I'm not. I don't know. I don't know. I can't really say that, because he fought the first fight he fought another YouTuber, right? In the second fight he laid out Nate Robinson, so if of course he'll have a long way to go to getting with actual boxes, but if man, these dudes are putting in work just like we are, so you never know. From what I'm hearing, they all putting in work just like we are, so I mean, you never know what's gonna go on.
All righty, we're going to go out to our virtual press now and get another remote question.
Our first remote question is from the LA Times, Manuk Akopian.
Hey, Regis, a question for you. I know a lot of boxers that I talk to, they don't like to play second fiddle as far as being on the undercard or a co-feature. How do you feel about that, considering you fought Josh Taylor in a sold-out O2 arena as a world champion, and now you have to be a co-feature to a YouTuber? How do you feel about that?
I'm not worried about it at all, man. I don't care about that stuff. I know I have to go out there and look spectacular and take care of business. He's this Jake Paul is obviously he's very, very popular. So I'm not worried about being a undercard or nothing like that. That has no concern to me at all.
What else do we have from remote?
We have from Viper Sport, Fuad Abdul Aziz.
Regis, just a couple questions from me, mate. First one is, you've obviously spoken very highly of Triller there. How much of a threat do you think they'll be to the mainstream boxing? In MMA, we see one sort of company run the whole show pretty much, mainstream-wise, the UFC. But in boxing, we don't have that. We have multiple organizations, multiple promotions. How much do you think Triller will have an effect on the whole boxing world?
I mean, I think Triller coming in strong. I mean, you got this going on, and then from what I've seen, they just did the They doing the Tiafimo fight in Cambodia. So I think they coming in strong. I don't know how much of a threat they'll be, but from right now, it looks like it's gonna be, they're gonna be one of the top people in the sport.
All right, we appreciate the questions and appreciate Ivan and Regis. Thank you guys. We look forward to seeing your match on April 17th. Excited about it.
All right,
All right.
you.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right. Now, in a moment or two, in just a little bit, we're going to be talking with Jake Paul and Ben Askren for our main event. But first, we want to tell you about a couple of important promotional events connected with the April 17th card. First of all, if you are an essential worker and you're a singer, you can audition to perform the national anthem at the first Triller Fight Club card. Now, the winner will be selected by audition videos posted on TrillerFightClub.com using the anthem hashtag. TFC anthem is the hashtag. So you put the hashtag TFC anthem on it, submit your audition, and you could, in fact, be the person doing the national anthem at the April 17th event. That's available to all essential workers, and we thank all of you for your great work. Now, in addition, we should tell you about another important promotion. There's only one way to attend this event, and that can only be done with a golden ticket. They will be golden ticket winners that will be allowed to be at the event. How do you win a golden ticket? Well, you post a video on TrillerFightClub.com explaining exactly why you deserve to be there. The hashtag is TFCPickMe. TFCPickMe. And you also need to comment on 30 Triller videos over a 3-day period. And the winners will be flown with a guest to Atlanta, and all expenses paid, and it will be a terrific trip if you're one of the winners of the golden tickets. So we want you to do that. And for that information and everything involved in this promotion, you can go to TrillerFightClub.com and find out everything, including how you order this event. So up next, we are going to delve into our main event, the match between Jake Paul and Ben Askren. And needless to say, Jake has not been shy in talking about this fight on social media and elsewhere. And Ben Askren has done a great job on his own end in the verbal department. Let's hear from both of them.
What's next for Jake Paul? Knocking people out, man. And so the first step of this era is knocking out Ben Askren, putting on a violent show.
I think it's pretty obvious why Jake Paul picked me. Number one, large social media following is fairly popular. Number two, from what it appears to him, my striking is really poor. But I'm happy that he chose me to beat him up.
Literally everything's at stake. Half the people are tuning in because they love me, but half the people are tuning in because they want to see my career be ended.
I don't know why people actually think he's a good troll or a good trash talker. I think he's terrible.
He's been asking for a beating. He's been asking for a beating.
I think his intelligence level and his maturity level is that of roughly a middle schooler.
Ben Askren, get a little fucking shout. April 17th, gonna be a movie. We live on Triller going groovy. Yeah, you know me. Yeah, JP, I'm going crazy. This Olympic decorated athlete, two-time NCAA Division I champion, 1 championships champion, 15-0, Bellator MMA champion, less losses than McGregor. But with all that said, truly believe I'm going to knock him out.
He's definitely not a fighter. He boxed 2 guys who are incredibly terrible at boxing and look like they've never been in a fight in their life.
That's why it's
for every fight because you're gonna see the Disney Channel actor, the YouTube kid knock out a legitimate MMA fighter.
I'm a world-class athlete. I've been top 10 in the world in 4 different things: wrestling, jiu-jitsu, mixed martial arts, and disc golf.
You really gotta be like certain type of guy to just wake up one day and just be like, yo, I'm trying to play some disc golf.
He's not going to know what to do. When he gets tired, he's breathing hard, and I haven't fallen over yet.
He's gonna be coming in on a bit. Boom. Literally lat dropping, bro. Go viral, bro.
I stepped in the cage and fought like really high-level fighters for a decade, and they could punch me, they could kick me, they could knee me, they could elbow me, they could choke me. And now I'm fighting a YouTuber, and all he can do is punch me. Like, this is easy compared to that.
This isn't a gimmick. I won't lose. I can't lose.
Ben is going to Sleepy Sleepy, just like Sleepy Nate, just like Sleepy Gibbs, and just like Sleepy Deji. Tune in. I love you guys.
Welcome to the show.
All righty. If Jake could just come out of his shell, we'd be okay. Fun setup for this match, and it puts it on the table. Jake Paul in his 3rd boxing match, taking on former MMA champ Ben Askren. And can't wait to invite them out here on the stage. With no further ado, Jake and Ben, come on out. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Thank you, guys.
Hi, Ben.
How you doing?
Well, you guys have set the table for this pretty well with that video and with what you've been doing beforehand. And Jake, I'll start with you. You've kind of indicated that at the end of the day, your boxing skills you feel are better, and that ultimately that's the difference.
No, 100%. I mean, this guy's striking is that of a grandma. Quite literally, if I put a grandma in against Jorge Masvidal, she would have lasted longer than this guy. He's a good athlete, they say, but April 17th, he's going to get exposed. We saw Steve Cunningham earlier going up against Frank Mir, and it's a boxer versus an MMA guy. I love Frank Mir, but at the end of the day, Steve's gonna take care of business. Then later on in the night, same thing's gonna happen. This is boxing versus MMA, and you're gonna see the difference. You're gonna see the difference of a wannabe fighter, a guy who choked in the Olympics, a guy who choked in the UFC, and now a guy who's gonna choke against Jake Paul. I'm gonna end this guy's career as an embarrassment. Masvidal did it once. I'm about to do it again.
All right. So all of that having been said, Ben, you indicate that the difference is not about the skill; it's about the toughness.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd heard of Jake Paul prior to accepting this fight, but I couldn't have told you a lot about him or his brother. I knew, he kind of came up in his brother's shadow. He was trying to fill his brother's footsteps. His brother's a lot more talented, has a larger following. Those type of things.
You literally went on your Instagram and asked people for roast. You asked people for roast on your Instagram, and that was the top comment was say that his brother is better than him.
Is he?
That's like calling Kylie Jenner Kendall Jenner. Like,
I don't know anything about them.
Yeah,
anyway, so
doesn't matter. Still a compliment. Okay. I would love to be Logan. Logan's a great kid. Both stars, both taking over the world at a young age.
Okay, so when Logan's little brother called me out, I thought about it.
You actually called me out. Let's get the facts straight. You called me out the week of the Nate Robinson fight. So continue.
Yeah. Okay, so when Logan's little brother called me out the week of the Nate Robinson fight, I said, sure, more than happy to, right? I like to fight. I've been fighting for a long time. Never boxing, but I've done wrestling, mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu. And, I thought, well, from his angle, what's he doing? And then I asked some of my kids at my academy, what's this guy all about? And they said, he's a bully, he's a dick. And so I think from his angle, it was like, he's thinking, who's the easiest guy that I can pick that'll give some validity to my name? It's like, I'm going to pick the guy who just had a surgery, who's retired.
If I wanted to pick the easiest guy, I would have picked Dylan Dennis.
Well, we know
Dylan was too scared to sign the contract. You actually had the balls to sign the contract. So if I wanted the easiest guy, I would have picked Dylan.
Jake, you did pick Dylan. We know that. I've already went over that. You picked Dylan. I know he wouldn't do it.
But you just said I picked you.
Because Dylan wouldn't say yes, dum dum.
You choking on your words, Bubba?
You picked
choking on
Dylan.
your words, Bubba?
You picked Dylan. Dylan wouldn't sign the contract. Therefore, you can't fight Dylan. So you have to pick the next person. Okay.
But
Now,
you said I
let
picked
me
you
continue.
first. You said if I wanted the easiest person, it would have been Dylan. But you're saying I picked you as the
Because
easiest person.
Dylan wouldn't sign a contract. Well, I'm trying to wait for you to stop talking. Okay. So, anyways, like this is typical bully behavior, but obviously sometimes
This is the
bully
fucking
picks
fight
the wrong
game.
person.
This is the fucking fight game. You pussy ass bitch. This is the fucking fight game. Yeah, I'll bully you around just like I'm gonna bully you in the ring. Shut the fuck up. You sound like a middle schooler. Oh, he's bullying me. Shut the fuck up.
Now, I was talking to your mentality. You're not gonna bully me. That's not gonna happen. And you know, like Jake, if you and I ran into each other in the back alley in Las Vegas, and I wanted to
Do it right now then. Do it right now then. We're running into each other right now.
Someone stop you. Got like 27 people.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Okay.
Bitch.
Anyways, I would do a homicide on you if I wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well, there you are. I guess that sets the table pretty well.
Bitch.
Let's go to questions from the press on hand.
Right in your face, you didn't do shit.
Jake, I guess I would ask you to clarify. I mean, why did you pick Ben? No disrespect to Ben, but I think he's the last guy we ever thought would see.
I already laid it out to you.
Right?
No. Here's what actually happened is actually after my Nate Robinson fight, there was probably 70 people calling me out, wanting to fight me. And there was probably 6 people that it made sense to fight. Bisbing, McGregor, Diaz, Danis, Askren, some YouTubers who are popular. But I wanted to fight a real MMA fighter. When it came to signing the contract, a lot of them didn't want to do it. And by the way, this is me coming to them with the biggest payday of their lives. This is Ben's biggest payday of his life. He's publicly said that. And so when it came down to signing the contract, he was actually down. So that's how it happened. And this fight makes sense. This fight makes sense in a lot of ways. And there's a large majority of people who think he's gonna win, and then there's the other half who know I'm gonna win.
Ben, I guess I want to ask you, when this first got announced, it seemed like kind of a fun exhibition thing for you to stay busy after your MMA career. But where does it stand now? I mean, obviously some pretty personal words, and a lot of people look at you as kind of representative of the sport of MMA as well. So where does this stand? I mean, you've been an athlete all your life, competing at the highest level. Is this a serious competition to you, or is this a fun exhibition?
I mean, I'm gonna take it serious, but the highest level of competition, no, not even close. Yeah, I'm gonna have fun with this. That's what I came for. Jake thinks he's a high level boxer. I think he's fairly delusional. I guess we'll find out.
You will find out very quickly and in a violent fashion, and you will embarrass the sport of MMA. You are representing the UFC. This is personal. The whole MMA community.
You're trying to make me represent the sport of
No,
MMA
you are
or
representing
UFC.
the sport. Dana White is betting money on you. He's trying to get trainers to actually help you train so that you can beat me. So you are representing the sport of MMA. You are an MMA fighter. Just like I'm representing the sport of boxing because I'm a boxer. Just like I'm representing celebrities and YouTubers because I'm a celebrity and a YouTuber. So I'm representing all of those things. So you are representing them, and you will see boxing conquer.
All right, let's go out for another question.
Hey, Jake, it's the Schmo. Good to see you. Quick question for you. If you get through Ben Askren, do you think that's the key to getting the attention of Dana White and maybe getting a Conor McGregor fight? Or who would be next on your list if you get through Ben Askren?
Schmo, my guy, good to see you. I don't have to do anything to get the attention of these guys. They have to get the attention of me at this point. They're talking about me more than I'm talking about them. He's one of the first fighters on the list. Yeah, he's the first MMA fighter that will be taken down. I think this will make the Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor fight that will happen one day more intriguing, of course. But there's Diaz after this. There's tons of people calling me out, celebrities, still athletes. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, this fight will give me a lot of credibility. Ben's 19-2, has less losses than McGregor, 2-time NCAA Division I champ, Olympic wrestler. So yeah, he's a real fighter, and that's why I wanted to do this fight, is to show the world like, this real fighter is getting in with Jake Paul and he's gonna get KO'd in 2 rounds.
Now, for you, Ben, on the other side of the coin, if you get through Jake Paul, what's next in your boxing career? Do you go for the big brother Logan Paul?
Yeah, I mean, 2021 seems like a tremendous year to beat up the whole Paul family.
All right,
Good seeing you, Schmel.
let's go to another question from
That
the
was good.
press.
That was your first good joke at the press conference. I know you're really excited about that one. Do you smoke cigarettes or are your teeth just yellow?
I'll write your material if you want me to.
English, please.
If you want me to write your jokes, I can do them for you.
If
You're not
I
very good
want
at
you
it.
to read my jokes, this guy's talking about my intelligence. Okay. God damn it. Embarrassing.
Mr. Zach here with the question for Jake Paul. Your last fight, you stole the show with a second round knockout over Nate Robinson. What kind of improvements can fans expect to see in your game going into this fight?
Zach, I pick wins. Young legend right there. You know, lots of improvements. I'm a completely different fighter. The fighter that I am now would knock out the fighter in the Nate Robinson fight. That is Jake Paul. So I'm completely different. And people will see I really haven't even gotten to show my boxing ability in my last two fights because they've both been like 4 minutes total or like 7 minutes total. So, you know, I'm actually excited to see if Ben's going to give me a little bit of a test, a little bit of a challenge, because then people will see, oh, shit, this kid can do that. Oh, he has this in his arsenal. Oh, he's been working on that. I haven't even shown the world what I could do. That's why this is fun, because I have the ace up my sleeve. And when you have the ace up your sleeve in life,
Hey, I was
it's an
wondering, your
exciting thing.
cheerleaders that you brought to my room, like, do you pay them as coaches or groupies, or do you just give them like sloppy seconds and social media shout outs?
Yeah, I give them a ton of dry over the pants hand jobs. Maybe say your joke again, and we can all remember to laugh. Say it one more time. We can just all laugh afterwards, just so you feel good about yourself. Say it one more time for us. No.
You have another question?
Yeah.
Look at the cock on this guy.
Jake, you spoke about the improvements to make every single fight. What can you attribute those improvements to? Is it your work ethic, your training team? What can you attribute that to?
Man, all of the above. We're working so hard, and really just a true passion for the sport. I love what I'm doing, and I have such a chip on my shoulder. The whole world wants to see Jake Paul lose this fight, and that I love that. I love that so much. And yes, we have the best team. BJ Flores, Jacob Chavez, you know, D Cut on the strength and conditioning, Carl, Jay Leon Love, John Marinick, Marcos, like all of these guys. I'm probably forgetting names. Even down to Shadow, Lucas Mack, all of these guys. Ebach. We have the best team. Blue, Gus, Content, on down. Best managers, best advisors, best lawyers, best trainers, best photographers. That's why I'm at where I'm at as a 24-year-old, is because I'm surrounded by greatness. And look, we all have a lot to prove to the world. And I'm 24 years old. This is the biggest stage of my life. You know, the last event was the 8th biggest pay-per-view event in history. This one's going to be even bigger. Justin Bieber, Snoop Dogg, Doja Cat. Are you kidding me? And you think for one moment I'm going to sit there and fumble this? You think for one moment I'm not going to work my bloody balls off to beat this bum, this Walmart-looking head-ass Napoleon Dynamite motherfucker? No. You got to be kidding me. So, yeah, I'm excited for this, and I have a chip on my shoulder, and I'm going to prove to the world April 17th. TrillerFightClub.com. Buy it now. But I'm going to prove to the world that Jake Paul's the real deal. And that's why I called out Conor McGregor initially. This is the road to McGregor at the end of the day.
All right, we're gonna go out to virtual questions, and let's go to that right now.
From USA Today, we have Josh Peter.
For Jake, you referred to Dana's $1 million bet. I just wonder how you felt about that. Where were you when you heard about it, and if you had a chance to talk to him?
I think it's great. Dana White doesn't talk about really anything besides the UFC, so it just goes to show how big of an event this is. And again, he is one of the many bird brain people out there who don't understand that Jake Paul is a real fighter. And you know, he's going to lose $1 million. And I challenged him along with Snoop Dogg to step it up and make it $2 million. Put your money where your mouth is. $1 million isn't that much to Dana White. I'm so confident in my abilities, and you know, it's free promos. So thank you, Dana.
What's next virtually?
Next up is fan-sided Jeremy Regis.
Question for Jake. Jake, considering Ben's combat sports background, are you expecting a quantum leap in the level of competition that you've faced thus far?
No. I think he'll be easier to beat than Nate Robinson.
Question to Ben.
Go ahead.
I think we lost him.
Was there a question for Ben there?
Yes,
Or we lose-
Ben, question for you. Based on what you've seen of Jake in the ring so far, have you seen an amount of talent there that you consider him talented as a boxer?
Yeah, it's hard to say. His opponents are so bad that he could have pretty much done anything he wanted to and won the fight. So yeah, I think TBD.
Next up is bad left hook, Michael Woods.
Guys, question first for Jake. Jake, I was impressed with especially your power against Nate Robinson. It strikes me that maybe you were a guy who was born with it. I saw you backing up and cracking the guy. Now, I don't know how that's going to work on Askren, who is a seasoned fight professional, but it led me to be thinking, how into this are you? Or do you have sort of a long-term plan? All right, I'm going to do this a year, 2 year, 5 years. Are you now a boxing lifer? What's the end game? How long do you want to do this, and where do you want to get to in boxing?
Yeah, great question. Definitely a boxing lifer. I'm addicted to this sport, and I will become the biggest prize fighter in boxing. Simple as that. And yeah, thank you for the compliment. Have a ton of power. I didn't really even get to utilize it against Nate. He went down, and I only landed 8 punches, and he was knocked down 3 times, if that gives you any indication. And man, when I put those 10-ounce gloves on, those Grant gloves, shout out to Grant, best gloves in the game. Whew, I love to crack, baby. And you know what's crazy? I love to get hit too. So like, I just love fighting in general. And again, this is the start of a burgeoning career, a burgeoning, amazing career. And I'm addicted to the sport. I love the sport. I want to bring more eyeballs to it. I love everything to do with it. I could see myself coaching my son one day.
Someone's gonna let you have kids?
That was good. You got like two lefts. Two lefts.
Thank you.
Next up is cage
Look
side
at your
press,
dad.
Gabriel Gonzalez.
Look at.
I've got 2 questions. First one is for Jake. Jake, celebrity boxing isn't anything new, but it's certainly enjoying a moment. What do you think it is about yourself that's made it successful?
It's your dad calling in. Look,
That dude's still alive?
he's still alive, bro. I'm about to take him out.
Flip-flop, man.
Hey, he's still alive. Don't worry, I'm gonna finish him off. Yeah, don't worry.
Tell him I like them flip-flops, man.
He said he likes your flip flops. That's my guy Masvidal, maker of Ben Askren. Jake Paul will be the finisher of Ben Askren. Does that bother you, by the way, that you got knocked out in 5 seconds?
Nah,
It
happens.
doesn't bother you?
Not really.
It doesn't really happen, by the way. That's only happened once.
You got a record.
You literally have the record.
I
Yeah.
literally have the record.
You
yeah.
hold the record.
The record.
Yeah. 5 seconds.
Yes.
It doesn't like haunt you at all that like you're
Does not
probably the
bother
most
me, Jake.
embarrassing fighter in UFC history.
Jake, I know you have low self-esteem, but you don't need to project it onto me.
This clip doesn't bother you?
I've only seen it like a million times. Doesn't bother me.
Doesn't bother you?
No.
Are you sure?
Sure.
Maybe the same thing to you.
Yeah. I don't think you're allowed to throw knees in boxing, Jake.
Well, it might have knocked you out. Same thing.
Okay. Good luck.
Okay, once again, Gabriel Gonzalez.
All right,
My
let's
first
get,
question is for Jake. Jake, celebrity boxing isn't anything new, but it's certainly enjoying a moment. What do you think it is about yourself that you've had so much success? Because let's be honest, not everybody brings in as much attention when they try to do this.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused when people talk about celebrity boxing because there's no such thing as celebrity boxing. I'm the only celebrity that's boxing. So people like to write articles about it, but like I'm the only one that's doing it. So doesn't really make sense to me. But really, at the end of the day, this isn't celebrity boxing. I am a celebrity who is boxing, yes, but I'm a real fighter. I've shown that. I'm 3-0, 3 KOs, 2-0 as a professional with 2 KOs. But I'm the only celebrity or influencer that's fought in like the past 2 years. So I'm really the only one doing it. So
My next question is for Ben.
Logan doesn't count or what?
He hasn't fought in 2 years. If you paid
Oh,
attention
so you
closely to what I
excluded
was
him.
saying. And look, Logan's great. He's a celebrity who's boxing, but at the end of the day, again, Logan is a real fighter who would whoop on a lot of guys.
Who's better, you or him in boxing?
Me, hands down. That's why I'm 3-0, 3 KOs. He's 0-1-1.
Yeah. Did he ever whoop your ass when you were the little brother? That was a question, Jake. You're supposed to.
I just don't care about your questions.
Okay. So I'll take that as he rubbed your face in the carpet on a weekly basis.
Yeah, sure, Ben.
All right, on that note, we'll go for another virtual question.
Yeah, my final question was just for Ben. Ben, you've been in big fights before, UFC pay-per-views, won championships. How has the reception been for you for this fight? Because I'm assuming you're getting messages from a whole other fan base. What has it been like?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I said earlier, I knew of Jake and Logan when I took the fight, but I didn't know like a whole lot about Logan or his little brother. And one of the things that I can't believe is in MMA, I was kind of the heel. I was kind of not liked that much. But Jake said in the pre-fight thing that it was 50 people wanted to win, 50 people wanted to lose. And I was shocked because it's got to be like 9 to 10. Pretty amazing how many people don't like you. I actually kind of find it pretty impressive, your ability to be disliked. That was a compliment.
All righty. Another virtual question on tap.
From the Courtside Sound Off podcast, I have Angel Ortega.
Yes, I have one question for Jake, and I want to ask Jake. You started with Deji, and now you're with Ben, and you also had Nate. I wanted to ask you, are you at this point bigger than the JJ fight? Is there any interest in still fighting KSI, or have you outgrown him and you're just over that?
Yeah, definitely outgrown him. There's interest. I think that's a fight that everyone wants to see, but at this point, it just wouldn't even be close. And I think, once he sees what I do to Ben, yeah, he's not gonna want to fight. And yeah, like even his coaches say it. They're like, hey, we're not letting KSI fight this kid right now. So his coaches know. His coaches know what will happen. KSI is ducking. And at the end of the day, it's like there's a lot bigger fights out there than JJ. So.
All right, next.
And next we have from MMA Island, Donna Corby.
Hey guys, this question is for Jake, and I guess it applies a bit to Ben as well. Jake, when you look at your 3 fights, you were very fortunate when you fought Deji and when you fought Nate that the main event guys were willing to carry the slack with you, because your opponents really weren't in terms of the promotion of the fight. They were very quiet. They weren't, Deji doesn't really have much of a mainstream appeal. Nate obviously opted to just be quiet and try to portray himself as an athlete. We'll give Gib the credit. He really did push that fight. Do you appreciate that Ben is willing to do the work to promote the fight, unlike maybe probably any of your opponents before? And Ben, are you enjoying that aspect of it?
I do actually appreciate it. And I part of me likes Ben. A part of me, thinks he's funny. So I'll give him that. And even his wife, like I was seeing her post stuff on Instagram, like she's funny. So I give him credit. And yeah, I think this fight has the most amount of hype going into it. He actually is putting out content and making some noise and talking some shit. So yeah, I do give credit to Ben there, and that's part of the reason we picked him is we knew there was going to be shit talk going into it.
One of the things that I appreciated about him earlier, I said it, is that and his brother too. Like they have somehow convinced their fans that they're real fighters. It's tremendous. It's it takes an act, it takes a show. He's done that. He says, pulling the fire truck, me and rice and chicken and shit like that. Like I'm in this for life. That's tremendous. Appreciate that, Jake.
Suck a dick.
One more. We have one more virtual question, and that's going to wrap things up for us. So go ahead.
From Full Reptile YouTube, James Mystery.
Hey guys, I got a question for each athlete. Jake, what do you have to say to all the professional fighters out there that don't like your quick success in combat sports without any substantial previous experience?
Haters will be haters. You know, when there's a new young buck in the game coming up in ruffling feathers, they're going to be upset. But again, I'm just trying to bring more eyeballs to the sport, and I'm having fun doing it. And I'm just doing me. You know, there's room for everyone to eat. Gary Vee once said, you know, you can build your skyscraper in New York as high as you want without tumbling over someone else's skyscraper. So why are people mad that I'm successful? You know, build up your own skyscraper, and there's room for everyone to eat in this sport. Trust me.
Fair enough. Ben, I saw on your Instagram the little scuffle between you and Jake before the press conference. I was wondering if you can fill me in on that. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how intimidated were you when Jake came in and flicked that tissue over your shoulder?
I think it was a mask, not a tissue, but yeah, I would say, you know, like a 1 to 1.1, somewhere in there. You know, again, if Jake and I met in an alley, I would just do a homicide if I wanted to. No big deal. I was most impressed by the fact that Jake, as a 24-year-old, is able to convince a whole team of grown men to do a cheer with him. That was tremendous.
It's called a team, a family, something that you don't have. Seems like you don't have really friends, and you know we're all in this together, and this means a lot to us. You know, this means a lot to everyone. This is a part of history. That everyone on my team is a part of history, and we're a brotherhood, and quite literally a bunch of 20-year-olds taking over the world. You sound stupid.
Yeah, I hope you do some more cheers on the way there.
Well, we know it's going to be serious on April 17th.
Go Bayside.
We appreciate both of you being
2,
here.
4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Ben. God damn.
There you go. Thank you both for being here. We're looking forward to April 17th. Should be a lot of fun.
Thank you, Al.
All right, you take care. Ben, Jake, we'll see you guys on April 17th.
22.
Now.
22. 22 till I end this motherfucker's career.
As they exit the stage, earlier in this press conference, we had a bit of news making by Oscar De La Hoya. Let's take a look back at it right now.
You got great fighters. I've been watching you walk in the ring with your fighters. Your boy Ortiz had a great fight the other night.
Last fight, Virgil Ortiz.
That was an amazing fight. But I feel like it's something missing, man. I keep seeing you in the ring, but I don't see you in the ring. I mean, talk to me.
Why don't you? I mean, you're part owner of a Triller Fight Club. Why don't you tell me?
I think you should tell him, man. It's you, not me.
Okay. July 3rd, I'm making my comeback.
Ooh.
Oh,
so that was the Oscar De La Hoya mic drop, and we will see Oscar De La Hoya back in the ring apparently pretty soon. Well, I know one thing: on April 17th, we're going to see an exciting event of both entertainment and boxing, and we are going to be looking forward to it. A reminder to you that to find out anything you need to know about this event, go to TrillerFightClub.com. It's going to provide you with information, video, and the way you can order this fight as well. And we also want to acknowledge our partners, In Demand, telco providers, and Fight, the platform that will be handling the worldwide live streaming. So thanks to everybody that participated today. Thank you to you for watching, and we will see you on April 17th.